Hey, hey. All right. Very exciting part of this book. We are now really cooking, aren't we? That's just an idiom that means that things are really happening quickly. Lawn Boy has expanded his business. He's acquired more labor, right? He has more workers. Pascal and Louis have joined the team. Let's see if that expands or grows his capital, if his money starts to grow. Turn with me to chapter 6, that's on page 30. It's titled Economic Expansion Combined with Portfolio Diversification. What does that mean? Well, I'll tell you. Economic expansion means growing your business. If something expands, it grows. And remember, we talked about economics being the system of making money and distributing wealth. So we've got economic expansion, money that's growing, and we're going to combine it with portfolio diversification. Now, your portfolio is just a fancy way of saying all of your savings accounts, all of your checking accounts, all of your investments, anything that you have involving money that you're saving or investing is called a portfolio. We particularly use that word in investments. So if I had money that I wanted to give to Arnold to invest, he might buy some Walmart stock, some Amazon stock. He might buy all sorts of things, and all of those stocks, the collection of those is called a portfolio. The next word we have to talk about is diversification. Diversification, if something is diversified, it means that it's different, right? We're a very diverse school at Owl Creek, meaning we have lots of children from lots of different backgrounds, lots of different countries. And so it's very diversified, it's very different. Now, portfolios can also be diversified. Let me give you an example of what diversification really is. Let me give you an example of carrying an Easter basket, all right? Let's put all of our eggs in one basket. This is not diversified, right? We have one basket that we're going to carry all of the eggs in. Well, imagine we trip and we fall, and all of those eggs break. Because we had not spread them out and diversified them, we've lost everything. Now, here's diversification. Let's say that instead of having only one Easter basket, I have 3 or 4 Easter baskets that I can put my eggs in to carry them back home. So if I trip and fall with one of my baskets, I still have 3 other baskets full of eggs. I've only lost a little bit. All right, so that's what diversification is, kind of spreading things out, spreading your investments out. So if one part does badly or poorly, there's potential that you still are earning money with your other baskets of eggs. All right. Whew, it's a lot, right? Are you feeling smarter? Are you feeling like you could potentially be rich? Yeah, you're really getting the hang of it. I want you to expand your capital as well. Use these tips that the Lawn Boy has to offer. Chapter 6, page 30. Here we go. 2 weeks passed. 14 days passed. 336 hours flew by. 20,160 minutes whistled past. 12,096,000 seconds roared away. Numbers, all numbers. And that's what happened to that time. It turned into numbers. In the beginning, I had a routine. I got up early. I had some cereal before my parents even woke up. Grabbed a gallon of water from the fridge and packed a bag lunch that I'd eat on the back of the mower while I was working. There was never any time to stop for lunch, so I got good at eating and mowing. Then left the house to start work. First, I checked the oil in the mower. Pascal showed me how to do it because it's an old engine, it's going to need a fair amount of oil. Then I added oil if I needed it, filled it with gas, and headed off down the street to Arnold's house. Where I met Louis, a thin man with a small pickup. For 2 weeks, we loaded my mower on a small trailer that he pulled behind the pickup and headed to our latest jobs. And at the end of the day, we went back to Arnold's, and I would ride my mower home and fall into bed until the next morning. Louis and I were doing 3 lawns a day each, with Pascal coming to work in the evening and early morning to do edge work and cleanup. And in the early morning, one night I stayed late to talk to Pascal. So he's sticking around. We can't keep up, I said. We're locked into a ginormous number of lawns now, once a week, and I'm having to turn more people down. Ooh, said Pascal. Pascal shook his head. Don't turn away work. Soon the summer will pass. The grass will be gone and the work will just fly by. We must make our lives while the summer is here. I know someone, Benny. He has a truck and he'll come tomorrow morning. I'll have another cousin who can help me out at night and others if you get more jobs. But you must not turn work down. And so I went on adding lawns. I kept track of them in a little notebook. Then I bought a larger one and wrote down the names, addresses, and date and mode so that there was some order. Then I got jobs to do shrub trimming and pool cleanup and sidewalk edging and garage cleaning. And there were more and more people working every day. One morning I had arrived at Arnold's, putt-putting down the edge of the road on my grandfather's old mower. And there were 4 pickups and 12 people waiting for me. And I thought, my, Pascal has a large family. And it was only the last week in June. But I really didn't think much besides keeping track of the new jobs in my notebook and recutting the lawns that came due and collecting the money and handing it over to Arnold. He put aside my percentage and gave the rest to Pascal when he came to work at night. Pascal paid everyone else. Then I'd ride home to dinner with my parents, sleep, and head off to work on my mower again. Once or twice, Grandma came over for dinner. Well, I see you're making good use of that old mower. Which reminds me, Maggie Doyle and I are going to take a pottery class through the Senior Citizen Center this winter. She nodded happily and reached for the rolls. Even in my exhaustion, I noticed the glance of my parents exchanged over the salad bowl. But don't work too hard, Grandma smiled at me. Is that grass in your hair? I had grass everywhere. In my socks, in my cereal bowl every morning, on my toothbrush. My shoes were stained green. I couldn't smell anything but fresh cut grass, and I dreamed about endless lawns and enormous piles of clippings. I found myself thinking about how to best lean to the turn so that the mower wouldn't leave rough patches that needed to be trimmed by hand. I spent a great deal of time wondering if I could rig an umbrella to the mower to keep the sun off my face. Not because I minded the heat, but because when I squinted, I made the rows uneven. I dug through old copies of Sports Illustrated to look for pictures of Major League ballpark outfields so that I could study the patterns that the ground crews left behind in the nap of the grass. But mostly the work cycle took over and I kind of missed the bigger picture. Until one morning, I putted to work and there were 5 pickups and more people, all with mowers and bags and rakes. About then, Arnold and I sat down and he said, "And it's inefficient to have you all meet at my place every morning, and besides, the neighbors are starting to wonder why so many people congregate here." So we decided to send everyone directly to their job sites from their homes, and I'd go around with Louis in his truck and supervise and collect the money to bring back to Arnold, who would give Pascal his share and put mine in my account that was in his name. And it was then, that first time that Louis and I drove around, that I began to see what was happening. What was happening was bigger than just a few people running around on mowing lawns. That's it for chapter 6. See you soon in chapter 7.